The Australian white jellyfish is native to the Indo-Pacific area, especially around the coast of Australia. Their natural predator is a snail, which eats the jellyfish during the polyp stage. The Australian white jellyfish was first introduced to the Gulf of Mexico in the summer of 2000, in which formation of swarms or a mass number of jellyfish could be seen throughout the Gulf. There are many theories of how they were introduced, but the most common theory is introduction through a ship's discharged ballast water. However, eutrophication and climate change are possible reasons for the introduction due to the changing environment causing an improvement of the conditions for which promote the living and proliferation of the jellyfish. Since their introduction to the Gulf and a lack of a natural predator, the jellyfish have spread towards the Atlantic and into the Caribbean. Jellyfish are changing the ecosystem and costing up to millions of dollars in damage to commercial fishing, in which jellyfish are clogging the nets. Not only is there economic impacts, but the jellyfish are disrupting the ecosystem through their gluttonous diet consisting of the eggs of larval fish and zooplankton, which causes the depletion of overall fish in the marine environment, especially with the added competition, which furthers the depletion. Ultimately, the jellyfish are altering the food web, and there appears to be a lack of information about them in order to prevent their spread. In order to prevent the spread of this invasive species, more information must be provided, meaning there needs to be more studies, as well as a means to identify and report the sightings of jellyfish. Further, some strategies to be implemented are the fishing of specifically jellyfish, which are considered as marketable in some countries.
The Penaeus monodon, also known as the Asian tiger shrimp, is a species that is native to the Indo-West Pacific, which ranges from Japan to South Africa. They became invasive species in the western North Atlantic. Methods of introduction include ballast water from ships, transportation of larvae, and migration from active aquaculture facilities. The picture below shows an Asian tiger shrimp on the top compared to a native shrimp on the bottom. This shows how much bigger the Asian tiger shrimp is compared to our native shrimp. On this map, it shows locations where the Asian tiger shrimp has been spotted. These invasive species pose a threat to other animals, specifically other species of shrimp. These tiger shrimp are colossal compared to our native shrimp. They can grow up to 13 inches long and weigh up to 3/4 of a pound. These Asian tiger shrimp specifically pose a threat to other shrimp because they are much bigger. They feed on other shrimp, crabs, and clams. A few ways that we can prevent the spread of Asian tiger shrimp can be by monitoring ballast water from ships, prohibiting people from farming those species, and making a point to catch, sell, and eat them.
Carijoarice, or snowflake coral, is a soft branch octocoral originally from the Indo-Pacific region. It's not known when it was introduced, but it had been found in the U.S. Virgin Islands as early as 1860. By 1972, it was observed in Hawaii and has since moved to the Gulf of Mexico. The snowflake coral was, until recently, confused for a type of coral indigenous to Hawaii, and it wasn't until a study was conducted in 2010 that we understood it as invasive. Attaching to hard surfaces is its primary means of introduction to ecosystems, which is usually along maritime routes by boat. It is no symbiotic algae, and as a result feeds primarily on zooplankton. Carijoarice is very hardy, thrives in even shady environments, and can attach to most every flat surface. Its resilience becomes a big problem for areas with large extant coral populations, and it oftentimes forces out native corals entirely. Its primary natural predators are two species of nudibranchs that can't survive in the Gulf of Mexico, and snowflake coral invasion also carries a large economic impact, namely that it can cause corrosion on any structure that it colonizes, which can be a costly problem for maritime industry. And since its primary food source is zooplankton, large populations of the coral also have the ability to destabilize fisheries and cause problems for those industries. There are currently no planned or operating management procedures to address the snowflake coral in the Gulf of Mexico. However, various invasive species initiatives, particularly those that are centering around the Gulf of Mexico, are working to increase awareness of the snowflake coral and to better research it.